In this video, I'm going to show you how you can initiate manual connections. Allowing the user to connect manually enables them to play games together even when your master server is down. There are two sides to this. The server needs to have information about what its external IP and port are, and the client needs to be able to enter that information manually. This process assumes the players are in contact with each other via some other means than your game, for example, chat or carrier pigeon. Once the server has started, he'll be able to relay his connection info to the other player, and the player can manually enter this information to connect directly to the server. Let's take a look at some code. This manual connection class is going to supply us with an interface for initiating a manual connection. It's going to store information like the IP, port, and password for a server. It's also going to validate the IP and port using regex. Additionally, it's going to supply its own event for on-manual input. Validating the IP and validating the port will be done in our onGUI method. Here we're going to wrap our text fields in our validate IP and only set the IP equal to what returns from the validate IP. That means only a valid IP will be allowed to be entered into the text field. Same goes for port. Additionally, the manual connection class is going to display connection info. In the case of an unassigned system address, this means that the server has not been started and we're unable to retrieve our IP and port. The best way to get your external IP and port is from someone outside telling you what they are. This would be like me contacting a server and asking them to tell me what my IP and port are. The other server has this information because that's what I use to connect to them with. I've also modified the server host and join to add in the manual connection settings, so I've renamed it. We're going to listen to the on manual input events with our handle on server selected listener. Pressing the tilde key will show our connection info, and we've also added a method for joining the server using IP, port, and password. Let's take a look at this in Unity. I went ahead and started the master server and went through the build process to spawn an additional client. And now I'm going to spawn a client here in the Unity editor. I'm going to start a server, and pressing the tilde key will show me that my IP is 127.0.0.1 and the port is 23467. On my client, I can enter that information manually. The master server is running, so I can see my game here, but I can also enter the information manually. Attempting to enter an invalid IP will stop me before the IP gets invalid, meaning I can't go beyond 255. 256 doesn't work. But I can enter in our IP and our port and connect. And now the two clients are connected. In this video, I've shown you how you can manually connect to a server and how to retrieve the connection info for a server. With these two bits of information, you can get players connected even when they don't have access to your master server.